Okay, so I finished out my color wheel with all of the intermediate colors. I labeled that color wheel. I also put my name on the paper. If you could please do that before you photograph it to submit, that would be awesome. And then I started labeling the next areas that I'm going to do. So what I labeled next was complementary colors. So we're going to be using the complementary color schemes of just the primary and the secondary colors to do these next techniques. And so I have red and green, and I have a place for one swatch. I have yellow and violet and a place for another swatch. And then I have orange and blue and a place for the next swatch. I did leave some space at the bottom for 3 other techniques as well. Okay, so I'm going to go on and explain how to do scumbling and then also blending with the complementary colors. So for red and green, I want you to do scumbling. And so I want you to pull out your red colored pencil and your green colored pencil. These are complements. What makes them complements is that they relate to each other distance-wise on the color wheel by being across from each other. So they are a very contrasting color scheme. If you mix the two together, they make like a neutral tone. Which is really nice for shadows, especially with Impressionism, because the Impressionists did not use black. They, when placed next to each other, make each other look very vibrant. Okay, so when they're not mixed, they look very vibrant. Okay, so we are going to do a scumbling technique. For this, I'd like you to try using your colored pencil kind of on its side like this, and then go in a scumbling motion, which is very like loose, kind of like figure 8 style way of placing the color down, just kind of loosely. This works really well for things like foliage, like bushes, and like plants and things. It can also work really nice for clouds, the technique. Obviously, you probably aren't going to use red and green for clouds, but anyway, I'm going to go over it now with my red, and you'll see where the two colors mix and it makes a neutral color, and then where they kind of don't mix as well. Now, if I am using this for bushes, I would want to go back over it with the green and really build that up so it becomes the dominant color. And so the red is just kind of adding that neutral tone in there. Okay, so you don't have to do that for this patch of example. What I should see is that you've applied the colored pencil in a figure 8 motion on its side, and that you've layered these two complementary colors. Okay, and so again, the technique is called scumbling. So I would like you to put that on your paper as well. Okay, for yellow over violet, we're just going to take a nice light patch of violet, and then we're going to go over it with the yellow, and we're just going to see the two colors just mix. And so with colored pencils, it works very nicely to just layer them with real light value. And so this is just an area where we're using a light color over a dark color, seeing how the colored pencils blend. If you feel like there's spots that you need to retouch it, like my violet kind of needs to be retouched there, I can do that. If I feel like I need more yellow, I can. But you'll see this makes a nice neutral tone that the two colors mix together. And so again, that's how we want to do shadows in Impressionism, as opposed to using black. They didn't use black, the Impressionists. Okay, so we're just going to put blending there. They didn't use black because black doesn't exist in nature. It's man-made. Okay, and then I'd like you to do just another patch of scumbling with orange and blue. Okay, and so again, I'm just using the colored pencil on its side, going around in that figure 8 motion real lightly, and then I'm going to go over it with my blue. Okay, if you find that using the colored pencil on its side isn't going very well, you might need to sharpen your pencil a little bit to make sure that there's kind of more of the colored pencil kind of to apply there. If it's down to a tiny little stump, the technique isn't really, you know, just like using the colored pencil kind of on it, like an angle on its side isn't going to work very well. Okay, and so there I get some nice neutral tones. Okay, so I want you to label that scumbling, S-C-U-M-B-L-I-N-G as well. Okay, so for the last 3 techniques, we're going to do broken color with analogous colors, feathering with analogous colors, and then we're going to do kind of a gradated patch with tints. So for broken color is probably something you read about in the reading, and it's basically putting like patches of color kind of like apart from each other. And so we're doing this with analogous colors, so I'm using my red right now, which I think I just broke the tip of, but I'm going to just try and make it work for this demo. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use orange. And so my orange patches are going to overlap the red in places to create red-orange, okay? And in some places they will be by themselves, you know, we'll see just orange, and in some places we'll see just red. And so the colors are kind of like mixing but not mixing, and there's like these slashes of color. This works really nice for like reflections in water. Certainly maybe not with this color scheme, but with a different color scheme. It also works well for like, I don't know, like sometimes different types of foliage and things. And so analogous colors are colors that are next to each other on the color wheel. It typically includes 3 colors. So our analogous colors that we just used in that patch down here includes red, red-orange, and orange. Okay, so for feathering, we're going to use green, yellow, green, and green. So I'm going to need my green and my yellow colored pencil. Feathering is like blending colors together in a way that they kind of go from one color to the next, with kind of the mark making where like I'm pressing harder here and lifting my pencil quicker as I get out towards the edge of it. And so then I'm going to feather in my yellow, and for that I'm going to overlap and continue out. And so I'm just kind of dragging the yellow into the areas of the green where it was applied more like lightly, and I lifted the color pencil up. And so it's kind of like blending, but it's not perfectly blended. So you can see kind of this visible mark making in feathering, which is very much an Impressionism thing. And so we want to see kind of like visible places where the colors like intersect with each other, as opposed to having them totally gradually blended. So this works really nice like for skies, really nice for like grasses and just different areas of like landscape. Okay, so for the gradation and the tints, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pull out, I have a blue violet. If you have a darker blue, that's fine. If you just have your regular blue, you can use that too. I'm going to go from like my blue violet to my blue to kind of a lighter blue that I'm creating with less pressure of the colored pencil. If you just have your blue, you're just going to start with that really dark, okay, with large amounts of pressure and layering. Okay, and so here for gradation, we are looking for a more gradual transition from one color to the next. So up here, I'm layering more colors up, or I'm layering more of the colored pencil up, and I can actually get, you can get this really great waxy buildup with colored pencil that can be really beautiful. But certainly it's a nice thing to mix in with your like art making with colored pencil. I wouldn't suggest doing that for like a whole piece for your Impressionism project. But I'm just going to kind of gradually fade it out, okay? And so if you just have one blue colored pencil that you're using, you can just do this where we like see the gradual from like dark up here, lots of pressure, and lots of layering of the colored pencil, to like lighter pressure and kind of just fading it out, and then it should kind of fade out to nothing down there. If you have more than one like blue colored pencil that you want to use, you can go ahead and almost like feathering, except it's less visible where the transition is. And so I'm just going to kind of layer this in over top of that like blue violet that I had, and then just kind of pull it down. So there's a lot of overlap, and then at the very bottom it's going to transition to that blue and then lightly fade out. Okay, and if you feel like right here, I feel like that transition is not as smooth as it should be, you can always work back in with different colored pencils to make that more smooth. So you just kind of work back into it as you need to. And so that is what we want for gradation, like gradual blending, real nice smooth transition. Okay, and that is the end of our technique. So just a reminder, color wheel with the primary, the secondary colors, and then the intermediate colors in between, mixed with the colored pencils that you have, using complementary colors for scumbling, with your red and your green and your blue and your orange, and then yellow over violet blended for one even patch there. And then you're going to use broken color with an analogous color scheme, where you're placing just like dashes of color next to and overlapping each other in some places, feathering also with an analogous color scheme, and then creating kind of like, shades to tints with gradation. Okay, and then make sure your name's at the top of it. Snap a photo and submit it for the assignment.